Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I am well. Busy day. We've got NFL Draft tonight. We got NBA playoffs. We've got Major League Baseball, if we want to call it Major League. Um, let's start with our gold. Oh, gold's jumping a little. All right. So, as I'm talking about, I'll be quick on it, the Comex games and the gold. Here's gold. Got up to 30. It was 34.90 2 days ago. It drops $200 in a day. So it goes from 34.90 and at about 5 in the morning, Europe has it and it drops it all the way down to 32.80. What the fuck's going on? Obviously, nobody's selling gold. Obviously, it's all these derivatives by JP Morgan. Are people needing gold to pay off their stocks? No, because the market was up 1,000 points. Why? I have no idea. Was it Bitcoin? No, Bitcoin was up. So it's not like people were selling their stocks to get into Bitcoin because the stocks were up 1,000. So I have really no idea what the hell is going on except for games, wanting a lower gold price so China and Russia could buy gold and the BRICS. As I pointed out, BRICS has 40 new countries joining. They all need gold, so they wanted to get a lower gold price. So now it went from 32.80 back to now it's 33 and a quarter, which looks like the low. At 32.80 is just washing everything. Now we see it. The low today is 33.10 at 10 o'clock, which is the normal derivative down. The U.S. is going up with their buying, so 33.25. I expect it higher. And then as we see it, the joke is that when China has it, it goes much higher. It got into the 33.40s yesterday. The other day, it got into the 34.90s, and yesterday it was into the 34.60s. And then Europe, for some reason, is chunking it down. What is this derivative at 9.45 by Europe? What the fuck is that? 33.38 down to 33. It goes down $26. But if you notice in the beginning, on Monday, I showed you all those etch-a-sketch moves. So what happened is they're all buying the gold, pushing the price way up. And so it was natural you're going to get derivatives pushing it back down, and then they can make money on the derivatives. So if you sold a derivative at 34.90, you watch it go all the way down to 3,300, and then you get out of it. So that's how a derivative works, like trading places. You sell high and buy low. But now that's gone. Now it's down to 33.28. So now that you see that, you're not going to see it again. You can do it one time. All right, it drops, and now here come the bang. And the reason is you bought so much to push it up to 34.90. All the buying, you didn't have any buying left. So when they started doing the derivatives, they'd go down $60, $70. Well, that's not normal, but neither was it normal. So again, when we started the week, it was 33.13, and it goes to 34.90 on Monday, which shows you what happens when we don't have the derivative bullshit in play. So as you get that going, you can see where we're headed, right? Once we get the price fixing out of the way. But with that said, they shot their load. China got it up to 34.90, and then Europe and the U.S. shot their loads down to 32.90. Now the loads are shot. Now here comes the regular action. And you can see we're at 33.28 on its way up. So Now you're not going to see you only see the big drop when you see the big push, and vice versa. If you see a big drop, you see a big push up. Normally it's like $10-15 intervals. They short it, goes down 10-15, and then they buy, goes up 10-15. And then occasionally it's all up days. Today I was expecting an up day, 33.28. So I'm expecting the US not to short it, because here's the key is this 930, 945. If it goes down where it went from 33.38 to 33.12, the US is going to buy, because it's bullshit. They're letting them buy cheaper. Again, keep in mind, the lower this is, if you want to buy, you want the price down, right? So if they want to buy their derivatives, they're buying it at 33.12 instead of 33.50 or 34, right? So the cheaper it is, the better, the more you can buy. The US has to buy gold if they want to compete with the BRICS countries, which they can't do. They don't have any gold. We don't really have any money, but neither does anybody else. All the paper stuff is all phony anyway. And that's why I talk about Rumpelstiltskin. So if I can trade worthless paper for gold, turn this into gold, that's the point of it. So it's hard to buy an ounce now. An ounce will cost you probably $34.50 to $3,500. So that is it's getting expensive, but it's not even the real price. The real price is probably 10,000. Because look at this. This is not, nobody's selling physical gold going from 33.38 to 33.12, or from 34.90 down to 3,300. Nobody's sold an ounce of gold. So in the physical world that we live in, nobody's selling the gold. So why is the gold price going down? It's like what I pointed out in Trading Places. When the Duke and Duke guy starts buying, the price shouldn't have gone up that much, because what are the other traders doing? Why are they buying? We're waiting for the crop report to come out. Then when it finally does, then the price starts falling. But why did the price go up if you knew the crop report was? That's like I said, waiting for an injury. Is Tom Brady playing? Is Mahomes playing? Well, I'm not going to bet case till I know if Mahomes is playing or not. So the line probably doesn't move, and then Mahomes is playing, and then the line might move up. So in Trading Places, it starts at 102. Why? Why was it 102 and then it ends at 26? What was that about? If you're worried about the crop, you would wait till the crop report came out from the secretary in the middle of the trade instead of at the beginning of the trade, and then see what he says. So why would you be buying, hoping that it's going to be bad news, pushing it all the way up to 142? And then Eddie Murphy comes in at 142, pushing it, and everybody realizes everything's fine, and they start selling, and they dump it to 26. Well, why was it 102 in the first place? And why was it going up on Duke and Duke guys buying? And then why did it go down? Eddie Murphy starts selling. Well, why does everybody else, they were all buying from Eddie Murphy. That should have made the price go up. Anyway, and then they start buying at 42. Eddie Murphy, okay, I'm selling, and now I need the buy section. And, it really didn't make any sense. The price going down, it should never have gone up until you knew what the crop report was, which should have been done in the beginning of the session, not in the middle. But at the end, everybody realized the supply of oranges was going to be fine. So therefore, the price should not go up based on the supply. But why is the price going down? Who's thinking the supply is going to be hurt? Well, anyway, it's the same thing with gold here. Why is gold going down? This is not. It's the same thing. That was Comex. That was all paper orange juice. This is all paper gold. Nobody's selling. So our whole theory is in the market, in the free market, where you have the physical gold market. And this is not the physical gold market. This is the paper gold market. This price should never have fallen from $34.95 down to 3,300. Now it's kind of climbing back, 33.26. But look at silver. Everybody, silver is going to go to the moon. Bullshit. It's not going to the moon until July 1st. They're not letting it. They're pushing it down. Hey, David, how are you? Good morning. So silver's not going anywhere now, but it will go. It's a good buy, but you can't get frustrated it doesn't go because JP Morgan is doing this shit, lowering it. It's down 18 cents. Why? Nobody's selling it. Anybody who owns silver is not selling it. They might get frustrated with it, but I would totally be buying it and just, I'm going to start buying. I got my unemployment came through yesterday morning. I was happy. All of a sudden the bank says, "Hey, you got your unemployment." So now I'll run to the store and get 10, 20 ounces of silver every couple weeks. NFL draft today. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk NBA playoffs and then baseball. So we'll get into more sports right now. But we always start with gold. It's always the most important. And again, this is Comex game playing. It's 3 sections. It's from 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. is China, and from 2 to 10 is London, and from 10 to 5 is the U.S. basically. So there's 3 different sections. So it depends when you catch it. I mean, you can see with China, it's all the way 33, 38. Europe has it. They crush it down at the end at 33.05, so the U.S. can buy it cheap, and then the U.S. has their play. But if ever you see this down just before 10 o'clock, the U.S. is going to buy. And if you see it go way up just before 10 o'clock, it's going to go down. That much I guarantee. So 33.26. So I'm glad it's sticking over 33, and we know it's going to 35. We know it's going to 5 to 10,000. I don't know why Comex is even still doing these derivatives. They're certainly not keeping the price down. The price is 3,300. Now I get when the BRICS countries want to buy, they want a cheaper price, but that's where the market comes in. The same thing with silver. Silver is ridiculously low, and don't tell me it's so the war machines can buy silver for the Tomahawk missiles. You got to pay whatever it is. That's the nature of the beast of the market, and the same thing with the solar panel guys and the electric engine guys. A lot of problems in China who are basically saying fuck you to the U.S. and selling to other places. And let's face it, we need China more than China needs us. Where are we going to buy our clothes and our golf equipment and our shoes and our and half the stuff we buy? Where are we going to buy it from? All the company, Apple, they're not supporting Apple anymore. They said fuck you to Apple, China, and fuck you to McDonald's. So where are you going to buy your computers and your laptops and your phones from? Because China's saying we're not dealing with you. Plus, China doesn't really want dollars anyway. I don't blame them. They got gold and silver, and that's what they want, and that's what they want to pay me in gold and silver, just like everybody else does. Nobody wants to get paid in Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is. It went crazy the other day. It was in the 90s. Let's see. Bitcoin is down to 93. It's down a little bit. So it got up to 95 yesterday. Why? Who knows? Now it's 93. Why? Who knows? It's not even real. So right now, gold 33.28. No, it isn't. It's I hate when I go back and it goes back. It's 33.24 right now. So let's see what the market is, and then let's get into sports. Stock market, April 4th. I don't care about that. We refresh to get the Dow is up. It's 39,837 up $231. Absolutely no reason for it. We're in a recession. A lot of unemployment, a lot of people being laid off. I had an interview yesterday, and I was really pissed off about it because They sit there. Why did you leave this position? I go, it's a contract position. They don't tell me. They just contracts ended. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm probably too efficient and I get what they need done. And then the contract ends. I don't know. A lot of people are having problems with it, but I don't like, it's insulting the recruiter going, well, why did this job end? Because it was a contract job. They ended it. Like, I don't know. Why are you asking such stupid questions? I hate when they ask questions. It's just a big turn off and I'm ready to, it was a Teams meeting and I was just ready to delete it. Just say, fuck off. Then she wanted me to take an Excel test. Says, why? It's like taking a driver's test. Well, I've been driving for, 40 years. I think I know how to drive. And saying that, I says, I worked at Mercedes 4 years. You don't think I know how to do Excel? You're insulting me again? I got a master's. You want me to take a finance test? Come on. I says, and I hate it because the way they give you an Excel test is cryptic. And Excel, there's 5-6 ways to do it. It's just like me handicapping, right? There's 10 ways to handicap football. So if you ask me a handicap question on the way I don't handicap, I can't answer it. All I know is the way I do it. And the way I do Excel and the way I do a pivot table or the way I do a VLOOKUP is I use the icons. But they might not ask for they might ask for other things. How do you write down the formula? Fuck, I don't know. I hit the formula box. It says VLOOKUP and I use it. I'm not memorizing the formula to take a test on it, but I know that's what you need. I says, why don't you just ask me to do something would be much better. Have me build a pivot table or something. Here it is. Because what you're asking me to do is just, it's retarded. And I don't score well on these tests because I don't think like that. I look at the icons and the formulas. All right. So anyway, Dow is 39,850, up $244. I love when they try to give reasons for it. Well, the tariffs are this, or Trump did that, or Musk did that, or whatever, and it's such bullshit. It's all just gibberish. It's not real. The whole stock market is made off. It's a Ponzi scheme. They make the prices go up and down, fixing it. It's not free market. And this is the problem when you're not doing free market stuff. It's fixed. You can't trust stock market. It's just like gold and silver. It's fixed, but we know it's going to be higher. We can rationalize gold should be much higher, and then you can see it moving. We can rationalize silver should be much higher based on demand and supply. We understand that. You don't understand is stocks. You have no idea. Football, as much as that's rigged, we can figure that out. And, so we know what's going on in football. David, all the celebrities have Bitcoin. Well, because the celebrities are stupid, right? Do they have a brain in their head? No. So again, they have it because somebody has it, or they have it because it's going up, right? Why were you in Madoff? Because my brother was in Madoff and it was returning 15%. So I was in it. There's that one guy from Europe who was in it he was like had like millions of dollars and all the royalty in Europe. We're in Madoff, and it was like, why are you in Madoff? Oh, I've checked it out. I'm sure it's real. And those two guys kept saying it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi. And the guy wouldn't listen. And it's the same thing here. These celebrities say they have Bitcoin to say they have Bitcoin. That's really what it is. And it's really, they're stupid. They do it because their financial guy told them, or somebody, George Clooney says to take it, and they all follow George Clooney or whatever. I hate George Clooney. And so that's what happens. So all these other ones buy it and they go, look, it's going up. Oh, it must be good. Look, it's going up. And that's not why you buy. That's not why you don't buy silver. You buy silver because it's money and the dollar's worthless. That doesn't move you into Bitcoin, but that's the same thing. Well, I'm not going to be in silver because it doesn't move. That's not the way it works. It's a good play. I got Hank Aaron. It's a good play. He's a superstar. He's in the Hall of Fame. a lot of home runs, and it's a really good card, and it's in good condition. Or I have the Cal Ripken rookie card. Why? Because it's Cal Ripken. It's his rookie card. It's in really great condition. That's how you have it. If it moves or not, you don't know. The Joe Montana rookie card I got as good a condition as I can get. I got it for $100. I didn't never dreamed it'd be $110,000 or the Jerry Rice rookie. It just is. I also have the John Elway and the Dan Marino rookies, and they're not worth much. Marino's worth like 10 grand, and Elway's worth like 25 grand, and yet Montana's 110. Now, granted, Montana was much better than Elway and Marino. Marino was good, but he didn't win anything, and that's why I hesitate, Nick, to buy Joe Burrow. Let him win some Super Bowls, because if he doesn't, his card really won't be worth much unless you're just a fan, which I am, of Joe Burrow and Chase, right? Thank you, David. We were very, very patient and selective, and that's really my name is patience, to go through a lot of these cards, right? So we're looking Ripken cards, and if it was way off center, the quarters were dinged, we wouldn't get it. And so we'd wait. These weren't too bad. These were terrible. This card was very difficult to get centered. And corners and everything. The pictures were pretty good, and then the back is nice and clean. So, this is a 68. I got 65s also, and a few 61s. Seems like I got a lot of Clementi's. Like anytime I was looking, there'd be a Clementi 61, a Clementi 60, a Clementi 65, Clementi 70. I mean, you'd think the guy was a minor leaguer. So yeah, I always was very. I had a hunch that I better get as good a condition cards as I could get. This was before graded. This was like early 1990s, and nothing was graded. And I told my ex, I says, it's got to be as mint as possible. That'll be, just because it's mint, will be worth something. Again, before grading, so you had no idea what the grading was going to do to it. But just like the Montana and the Rice, it was like, get as good of a card as we can, get as centered and as crisp and clean as we can get. And so I knew enough about condition is going to be very important. All right, so the Dow 39H right now, up to 85. Again, have no reason. I would never be in stocks right now. Let's check gold, and let's go for sports. Gold 33.23. All right, I'm fine with that. Usually gets hit at 10 o'clock. Once we get past the only other danger time is like noon, which it is now, where it could jump. It seems to be on the hour. 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 10 is when it tends to drop. All right, let's go to. I think I showed you this counterfeit silver. Let me show it to you again. Then we'll get to sports. All right. All right, so this is a counterfeit silver. You can tell because it's $19.99 when all of them are going for $40. And then we go into the auction. See, right there tells you it's counterfeit. This guy's got 44 feedback and 97 is positive. So like 40 of the 45 is good. But look at this. He wants $200 shipping. He's selling it for $19 with $200 shipping. Was this guy out of his freaking mind? Item subscription from the seller is 100% pure silver, which is a lie. Now, one thing we don't see is it doesn't say 1 ounce pure silver in it, 999. Why not? All the others do say 1 ounce, 999 pure silver or something like that. And it doesn't say it on the front. Right? All it does is give a year, and it doesn't say 1 ounce pure silver. This is a counterfeit. So when you see the price at $19.99 for something that should be $40, and let's see, where's it coming from? So here's a problem. Sent a fake, cloned watch. I've had verified as such, and when trying to return the item, asked to accept a 30% discount refund rather than return. The seller then sent me no return label and a few dollars, so that does not cover a return. So here you go, sent a fake. So we're able to see that. Usually they say where the seller's from, like Hong Kong or China, but I don't see that here. So here's a real one, $35.98. So why are you $19 and $21? Here's a real one. So let's look at the real one. Here's 2025. Oh, but look at the back, $1, 1 ounce fine silver. It might not say 999, but it does say it's $1. It does say 1 ounce of fine silver. If you don't see this on a coin or on a gold coin, don't walk, run to the exit and never buy. So why is it 19? Because it's fake. So lesson learned. This guy's selling a lot of fakes. Here's a Canadian he's selling for 19. And again, we go into it. And it's just, is he kidding? So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So if you're on eBay and everything's more, don't get it. I did see this card, which I thought was kind of cool. This is an actual Babe Ruth 1933 Babe Ruth card. All it's graded is authentic. You can see some rough corners, but if you ever see this at a show, that's the back. Big League Chew. So that's why if you see cards like this at a trade show, buy them. All right, let's go to, what do we want to do first? Let's do the NBA, then we'll do baseball. And we'll get to the draft after. So in the NBA, let's look at yesterday. Yeah, I did come across a Mantle rookie. I can share that with you. I didn't come across one at a show, or if I did, it was too expensive. At the day when we were doing it, the most I would spend on a card's like $100, $150, because we weren't buying them figuring the Montana's going to 100,000. I'm going to pay $100 for it. We just went going, oh, I'd like a Montana rookie card, and I like a Rice, and they cost 100, 150. And it was more, I got the Montana rookie, I got the Rice rookie, I got a Mantle card, I got the 68 Mantle I showed you. Here I never got the Hank Aaron rookie, but I got this Hank Aaron. This is a 68, and I got him in 65. But I never got, again, never my wildest dreams. I probably got that for $100. Made sure it was in mint condition, because the dealers were stupid. The dealers would look at Beckett as the Bible. And so the dealers are looking, okay, the Hank Aaron 65 card. Now the Beckett was ungraded, basically a near mint. So basically an 8. And so it sold for $100. So I'd go and it'd be only I knew it was not an 8, it was a 9. And I could see for the $100, and I'd go, well, what's your best price? I'm interested. And he'd go 75, because I knew the psychology. The dealer was there. He needed money, and I'm going to buy, and they knew I'd buy. So I'm a buyer. So they'd go, oh, well, okay, how about 75? And I'd go, okay, because they want me to come back, right? So they know if they give me a discount, I'll shop some more with them. And so I'd look at 100, and I'd come back to 75, and I would get them for 75, but we already eyeballed it and looked at the condition. So I knew right off the bat it wasn't $100, it was more. But I never dreamt they'd be $50,000, $60,000 or $100,000. I just was okay. I got a nice Aaron car. Okay, Mays check, Clenny check, Pete Rose check. Boom, boom, boom. I'll show you the Mantle rookie in a second. Hey, Prophet. So tonight's the big thing. I just hope the Raiders don't blow it. Well, they got Coach Pete. We'll see. Hopefully not. Well, we'll see what the Raiders do. They've blown a lot of drafts lately. All right, so I'll show you the Mantle rookie real quick, and then I'll get back to this. Oh, wait, here's eBay. All right, here's the Mantle rookie. This is a PSA 1, and it's 54,000. So yeah, I probably should have, if I saw Mantle rookie, which I don't know if I did. PSA 1. I mean, you can see, look at all the wrinkles on it, right? I mean, it's just, if you have the card, it's a 1. Look at all the wrinkles. Let's look at the back. Here's the back of the card. Not too bad. Not sure about the corners. But you can just, this has just been folded and wrinkled there and down at the bottom. And look at this, all the wrinkles. But that's what you got. So if you're at a card show and you see a Mantle rookie and he's going to go off of Beckett, and if it's in decent anything, you can get it for $1,000. I highly recommend getting it, because you can see a 1, as long as it's real, is getting 55,000. That's the art of it, right? Is knowing that if you get it graded. Now that I wouldn't worry about getting graded if it's like that. So he's not gonna give me a better card. And even if I get a 1, it's 55,000. So I'd be getting it graded in a heartbeat. My problem is getting this card graded, which looks like could even be a 10. It got sweet 9, no wrinkles, no nothing. It's just ideal. The back's fine, no stains, corners are sharp. That's what I would worry about, is getting a PSA 7 back for my PSA 9 or 10. All right, basketball yesterday. Boston wins 109-100. I'm sure they don't cover. Cleveland wins 121-112. I'm sure they don't cover, but they both go up 2-0. Houston beats Golden State 109-94, and a must win for Houston. So you start to see the rhyme and the reason. The big game, Cleveland, Miami, Boston, Orlando, they have no chance. So this is their best game. They played yesterday, and they still lost by 9. Houston at home lost the first game, had to win, get the win. So Golden State's happy because they got the split. Now they go home. Houston had to win or the series was over. So what do we do with this? we bet everything on Golden State next game because they're coming off of a loss. Because they relaxed, because they went for the split and they got the split. When you go on the road in the first two games, you're going for a split. Now, obviously, Orlando, Miami's not going for a split. Golden State went for a split, and now it's 1-1, and now they got two games at Golden State. They're going to hit them hard in game three. Game three is the game we bet Golden State on. Then, depending on what happens, if Houston wins, we really jump on Golden State because now it's do or die back against the wall. If Golden State wins, then probably bet Houston back in game four, as they showed you in game two they can win. And they're the 2 seed. That was yesterday, just 3 games. They're not on TV. I don't understand it. They're on what? Detroit, New York's on Fox. It's probably Fox Sports Detroit, which nobody gets. These are not regular TV channels, right? I don't know what they're doing. So basically, they're not on TV. Oklahoma, Memphis is on TNT. I don't get TNT on my cable. And Denver and the San Diego is on FDSS, Fox Detroit or Fox Sports. Who gets that? So these games are basically not on TV. Not too intelligent, the NBA. All right, so let's look at the first game. The Knicks at Detroit. Detroit shockingly won game 2. So off of the game 1 loss, Detroit wins game 2. Okay. The Knicks are 1.5 point favorites, 214 against Detroit. And I'm not really looking at over-unders in basketball yet because I don't really see, like in the NFL, you see a team with like a 17 defense and you see like the Lions with the 30 defense. Here, I don't know. They're all like within 4 or 5 points, so I have no idea how to play over-unders yet in basketball. I'll figure that out. So the Knicks minus 1.5 off of a loss. We know Detroit sucks. They're the 6th seed, but that's just because the East is so bad. I don't know. I only what I heard is that Karl Anthony Towns, was from Kentucky, didn't score in the 4th quarter. Well, they didn't give him the ball. The guy apparently hogged the ball. They're one star, New York, and you're not going to win like that. So I would be all over the Knicks tonight off of a loss. Detroit got lucky, won a game. They're maybe they'll win one more. They'd probably go 4-2 Knicks. But I would think it would go take the Knicks tonight. They go up 2-1. You bet Pistons the next game 2-2, and then you bet then it goes back to New York. They go up 3-2, and then they finish off Detroit 4-2. That would be my guess. Oklahoma City, Memphis. Oklahoma killed them the first game. They were actually up 2-0. They killed them the second game. So the first 2, they've killed them. Here's game 3. Now it's at Memphis. OKC's 9.5, 227. Looks like it could be high scoring. Memphis played their best game and got killed game 2. This is do or die now. If they go down 3-0, it's all over. So look for Memphis to play very well. Is it going to be enough? Again, I'm not really I couldn't name one player. Is it good enough to cover the 9.5? And I think I would play very small on Memphis. You're getting Memphis' best game here. You got it in game 2, a good game, but now they're at home. You're getting their best game because if they go down 3-0, it's over. So look for them to try to go 2-1. And Oak City on the road is going to be a little different than Oak City at home. So I think Memphis is 9.5, very tiny bet. Denver at San Diego. San Diego has been favored both games in Denver, and it's 1-1. Denver won game 1. San Diego won game 2. Do we play Denver here? San Diego minus 5.5. Now, they've been favored in Denver, so you kind of look at it like they should be San Diego should definitely be favored. At 1-1, I think this is a San Diego game, and then if it's 2-1 San Diego, you bet Denver game 4. So this is pretty close, but I think the home field advantage will help San Diego here. So I would go. I would go the Knicks, I would go Memphis, and I would go San Diego, today's games. All right. So that'd be basketball, baseball, 12-13. All right, our first game's at 1:10, so we got an hour. So let's rock and roll. Now with the Tigers, it's been weird. I bet they win the first three against KC. Their ace is going Skubal, and they lose. The next game, this Montero guy who sucks is going. I bet against them. I take San Diego, and Montero he sucks, but they San Diego, but Detroit wins. So they lose with their ace and they win with their junk pitcher. And he gave up like 5 runs, but so did the good pitcher on San Diego with the 1 ERA gave up 6 runs. So the plot was correct to bet on the ace and then bet on the ace. So we tried to bet on the ace, but Skubal didn't show up. He choked. And then San Diego's guy choked. So we will see. All right. So that just shows you that the strategy is to go with the better pitcher and assume if he's got a 1 ERA, you're not getting a lot of runs on him, and it's either an under bet or you're taking him. And yet it's averages. It's an earned run average. In 10 games, he gives up 1.5 runs. So there's times he shuts you out and times he gives up 4 or 5 runs. So you got to understand that going in. And then the same thing with the batting averages. You can look at hitting all you want. And that's what I've been doing now. So I've given you like Houston has 2 hitters, Altuve and somebody else, who are hitting over 275. And then they got 4 hitters hitting under 225. The rest are in the 230, 240s. And you don't know what you're getting with these guys. I'll see guys with 150 averages getting 3 hits, hitting a home run, driving in 3 runs. How the fuck can this happen? And then there's the injured guy, Lindor for the Mets was hitting 210, is now hitting 310. Altuve was in the low 200s, is now in the 300s. So some of these guys you expect to be 300 hitters that are not there, that you know they're going to get there. Again, it's an average. So if we play it 10 times, he's gonna help us probably 6 of the times, and 3 or 4 he's not going to help us. But we don't know which ones. Welcome to betting baseball. All right, so let's go. Chicago, the worst team. Well, they're not even the worst team. Colorado's worse. They're 5-19 against Minnesota, 9-15. Minnesota's not very good either. Minnesota's a 220 favorite, 7.5. Thursday afternoon game in Minnesota. Shane Smith, 0-1 with the 2.82, goes against Chris Paddock for Minnesota, 0-2 with the 7.27. What do you do with this game? How can you play Minnesota as a minus 220 and my pitcher's got a 7.27 ERA? What are you kidding me? You can never play Minnesota here. Can you get 7.5 runs? That's the question. Well, the White Sox pitcher's 0-1 with the 2.82. Let's look at Minnesota. Minnesota's got 1 hitter and 5 bullshit hitters. 5 hitters hitting under 225, but only 1 good hitter, and maybe it's 2. And the other thing is the lineup, righty or lefty. Certain hitters are not playing every day who hit well, so that's another wrench in the equation. Yeah, Nick, you want to formula this? Good luck. So Minnesota, let's call it 2 hitters. Maybe they have 2 hitters and 5. So are they going to score on this guy with a 2.82? And the White Sox are 2 hitters and 8 bad hitters. So, but just because the 8 hitters are hitting in the 200s and the 100s doesn't mean they won't get hits. This is the frustrating part. They've got virtually no hitting, and yet they do. And then like San Diego they got like 8 hitters, and yet they got shut out by the Tigers the other day, or 1 or 2 runs. So just because they got 280 averages doesn't mean they're going to get hits, and just because they got 120 averages doesn't mean they're going to go 0 for 4. The odds are they will, but within the data field in 20 games, they're not going to go 0 for 4 for 20 games. So they will get some hits and they will get some runs, depending on who's the other pitcher. So I think the White Sox can hit this guy because he's got a 7.27 ERA. So more than likely, he's going to, he's pretty bad. The White Sox can hit, but they should hit this guy. So I'm going to go over 7.5. White Sox over. The only other play here is to take the White Sox getting plus 220. Which they're 5-19, but Minnesota's only 9-15 with a trash pitcher on the team. So you could take the White Sox to win here. It's a big number. They got a good pitcher, a 2.82, and neither team can really hit. So I'm going to go over just because, again, it's kind of a strange bet because I'm betting the 7.27 pitcher sucks. And I know the White Sox bullpen sucks. I saw it against the Tigers. So we'll go over, but you could also play White Sox as a very live dog in this game. Seattle and Boston. Seattle 13-11, Boston 14-12. They're decent. Boston's a 185 favorite, total of 8. We got Ric Flair going. Brian Wu 2-1, but now his ERA is 3.12. He must have got hammered last game. Let's take a look. Yeah, well, they lost to Toronto 3-1. He pitched 7 innings and he gave up 7 hits and 3 runs. So not too good. He gave up 4 runs against the 49ers in 6 innings, but he normally goes 6-7 innings and pretty good strikeouts. So again, a bad outing last time. Here he's at Boston against Garrett Crochet, who's 2-1 with a 1.13. So I can't go against Ric Flair, so I'm going to go under in the game. So Boston, this is 135, under 8. And we'll go 2. We'll make a bet on this one. You got 2 good pitchers. Ric Flair had a bad outing last time, but he's normally in the 2 ERA. This Garrett Crochet, I've never heard of, but they gave him a big contract, and he's 2-1 with a 1.13 in Boston. So he's more like a 0.13 if he's not playing at Boston. Why the game so early? It's Thursday. It's travel day. On these travel days, they play the games early so people can get on their planes and go to the next city. I don't know what difference it makes. As long as the next game's a night game, you're traveling. I agree with you. It shouldn't necessarily be early. But that's what they do. It's because it's Thursday. You would think it may be because of the draft, but I am not watching the draft. I'll go on here and I'll look at the draft and say, how did the first 10 picks go? And I'll laugh at the teams for not knowing what the fuck they're doing. So anyway, but that's what we have. So Woo, Slick, Ric Flair, there you go. How could you name the guy Brian Wu and not think of Ric Flair, right? So he's actually a pretty good pitcher. His ERA is 3.12, but I think it's more like upper 2s. Colorado, KC. Colorado 4-18, and they're terrible on the road. I started looking at that yesterday, home and road teams. There's some teams that are just pathetic on the road. And like the Tigers, I think are like 12-1 at home and 2-7 on the road or something like that. So that's another little data point we can put in the equation to try to figure out the outcome, right? So we got hitting, we've got the pitching ERA, the bullpen's impossible because looking at the Tigers, they'll have 3 or 4 relievers one day, and then they'll have 3 or 4 different relievers the next day. Well, how can I handicap that? I don't know what reliever you're going to put out there, and I don't know when you're putting them out. So we bet heavily against Montero, who gave up 4 innings, 98 pitches, and gave up 5 runs. But then the bullpen comes in and 0-0-0-0. They all pitch an inning. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. Worst management I've ever seen. The managers don't even know what the hell they're doing. Anyway, Colorado KC. So German Marquez for Colorado, 0-3 with an 8.27. Yeah, this guy should be in the big leagues. Cole Reagan's 1-1 with a 3.58. So we got to take KC here. Colorado can't hit. Colorado has 2 hitters, 5 shit hitters, 2 hitters is all Colorado's got, and they're not at home. So maybe at home they got 2 hitters. So therefore they're not going to do it. Let's see what KC's got 3 hitters and 6 shit hitters. It's amazing how many hitters these teams have that can't hit 220. And most of them are in the 140s, 150s, 160s. There's one team with 2 hitters under 100. Excuse me, what are you doing? And then my best thing is the manager pinch hits a 300 hitter with the guy who's hitting 0 or hitting 050 or something, and you're pitch hitting your 300 hitter with this guy because he's right-handed, left-handed, which makes your 300 hitter a joke, and then it makes your 0 hitter or your pinch hitter really blow because he's hitting 100 and he's only hitting the opposite pitcher. Yeah, good managers. Oh my God. All right. So let's go KC. Cole Reagan's 1-1 with a 3.58 against no hitting Colorado. I can't go under because German Marquez has an 8.27 ERA, so he's probably going to give up 5-6 runs, and KC probably wins 5-1 or something like that. So let's go KC. Green Bay 49ers. This has been a good series. Milwaukee 13-12. The Niners 16-9. The Niners are playing good ball. So San Diego. The Niners minus 145, 7.5 at home. Tobias Myers 0-0 with an 0-0 for Milwaukee. Probably hasn't pitched yet. Usually they haven't. Last 10 were last year, so he hasn't pitched yet. So obviously coming off the injured. And then Landon Roop for the 49ers, 2-1 with the 4.09. What do you do with Tobias Myers? He hasn't pitched. Is he a good pitcher or a bad pitcher? Has he got a high ERA or low? Is he going to go more than 3 innings or 4 innings? And he's not going to pitch a lot. So then he gets into the bullpen. If we look at the hitting, Milwaukee is 5. They got 5 good hitters. I'll just leave it at that because the 4 bad hitters, we don't know what they're going to do. But I at least got 5 hitters. And San Francisco's got 3 hitters. So I'm going to get a little hit from San Francisco and Milwaukee. I should get some runs with 5 hitters. And these are 270, 280, and 300 hitters. I looked at the 300 hitters yesterday on the stats. There was quite a few of them, actually. And Aaron Judge went over 400 yesterday. He went 4 for 4. He's hitting like 407 now or something. And then they got Goldschmidt, who's hitting like 380. Unfortunately, half the team can't hit, but those two can hit. They just need Derek Jeter and Yogi Berra back. So what do we do with this? Milwaukee's going to hit. We got to go over here. Let's go over. SF over 7.5. So we got hitting from Milwaukee. We should get some. We don't have pitching. We got a 4.09 pitcher for Frisco. Milwaukee should light him up with 5 good hitters. And Tobias Myers, even if he's, Sandy Koufax, he's only going to go 4 innings maybe. If he hasn't pitched at all this year, maybe 5 innings. Is he going to go? We don't know what his ERA is. The 0.00 is because he didn't pitch yet. It's not because he's, pitched 4 games and not allowed a run. So we don't know how strong he is. I think this is a really good over, 7.5. Colorado KC. What are they playing? A doubleheader? 210. This is 540. Very unusual that they're back-to-back games. They try to milk the gate out of everybody by having a day-night doubleheader, which is so stupid. It really hurts your players because the players get all up, get the adrenaline going. You're playing at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And then what do? They don't go home. You got them sitting on their asses from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Yeah, that's really good for the players. I know I played. I can go again. It's like running. You can run and you can keep running. But as soon as you stop running, you get tired, and so the owners are greedy. They want two gates, but the players, it doesn't help the players. So you're not going to win with it. It's just really stupid. Stupid owners, right? If you play the two, maybe you'll have people show up because they get to see two games. Anyway, Mike. Hi, Mike. Welcome to our class. Albuquerque, welcome. I was a big New Mexico State football fan 2 years ago when you had Dagiapava on the team, and then he up and went to Vanderbilt. But yeah, we made a fortune on Daggio. We made a fortune on him last year, and I don't know why he's not going pro this year. He'd be the first quarterback. He's so much better than Cam Ward. It's a joke. All right, Colorado KC game 2. So really, you don't have much time to analyze it because it's going 210, 540. If there's a lot of bullpen, then are the stronger bullpen guys going? You got to see what's happening in the game. If it's close, they got the better bullpen. The second game will have the bullshit bullpen in. So there should be more runs if it's a close game in game 1. KC's minus 190. So KC's minus 275 in game 1, minus 190 in game 2, 8.5 total. Chase Dollander for Colorado, 1-2 with a 7.36. Jesus, he's terrible. Look at these pictures. Marquez 0-3 with an 8.27, and then we go to Chase Dollander 1-2 with a 7.36. Holy crap! KC Mike Lorenzen 1-3 with the 4.57. KC doesn't have pitching either. This is why these teams suck. If you don't have pitching, it's like defense in football. If you don't have defense, you're not winning, and if you don't have pitching, you're not winning. Mike Lorenzo 1-3 with the 4.5. You got to go over, even though I did mention that Colorado's only got 2 hitters, but maybe they turn around. Let's go over in game 2. KC over 8.5. Keep your eye on game 1. If it goes, if it's 3-2 and they go through the bullpen, then this is a very good overplay. Look at these pitchers: 7.36, 4.57. Even minor league hitters should be able to hit these clowns. So the question is, why is Chase Dollander in the major leagues? Why isn't he in minor leagues? Why is German Marquez 0-3 with an 8.27 in the major leagues? This is terrible GM, terrible. Why is the manager playing these guys? I'd have them chasing balls in left field. Sorry, you're not getting on the mound. Now with an 8.27 ERA, you got to be kidding me. I play to win. I don't play to, we'll get the guy out there. He's the next Cy Young. Baltimore against Washington. Baltimore 9-14 and Washington 11. Excuse me. And Washington's 11-13. They've been playing pretty good ball. Baltimore is a 102 favorite, so it's even at 8.5. Cade Povich for Baltimore, 0-2 with a 6.38 ERA. Mackenzie Gore, 2-2 with a 3.41 ERA. So a little edge to Washington. Although, why is Baltimore favorite? Let's go to the hitting. Baltimore's got 3 hitters and 5 shit hitters, and Washington has got 2 hitters and 5 shit hitters. So there's not Baltimore. You got 3 guys that hit close to 300, but you got 5 guys hitting under 220. What the fuck is that? But they'll get you hits. So now it becomes pitching. Povich for Baltimore is 6.38 ERA. So Washington should hit this guy. Over under of 8.5. I think I'm going to go over. Washington tends to score runs. Or you can take Washington. 2-2 with the 3.41 isn't bad. Washington, as I said, has 2 hitters and 5 crap hitters. And maybe some games it's 3. I gotta look at it weekly to see if a guy was hitting 220s now hitting 270. I see that in some teams. Like I said, with Lindor and Altuve, they went from low 2s to low 3s. So that can happen easily. Washington. Let's go over 8.5. The best hitting team. Let's do that. Tampa Bay's got 5 hitters. Detroit's got 6 hitters sometimes. Texas was 6 hitters. Philadelphia was 6. Miami was 7. The Cubbies was 7. Milwaukee 5. Cincinnati 6. San Diego was 7. Now, I know they had an injury or two, but they still are a very dominant lineup. Those are your best hitting. Those are the teams with the best lineups. So when I say 7 hitters on San Diego, they're hitting over 275, 7 of them. And most of these, you go to Colorado, they got 2 hitters and they got 5 hitters hitting under 200. I mean, oh my God. Yeah, good luck betting on those teams. All right, Washington over. Pittsburgh in California, and it's on the West Coast. California minus 150 and 9. Pittsburgh's 10 and 15. California's 11 and 12. Okay. Carmen Lazinski, 1 and 3 with the 7.41. He's basically a pig. Goes against Tyler Anderson, 2-0 with the 208. I'm not even going to look. We'll go California, and we'll go 2 units. Just the pitching dominance. Let's look at the hitting. Pitt has four hitters that are good, 4 bad, and one of them was who's that guy? McCutcheon. McCutcheon was one of these that was hitting low 2s, is now hitting about 250, 260. So I included McCutcheon. He's starting to go. Lindor, Altuve, they're starting to hit. So they're 4 and 4, so they can hit. California has 4 and 4 also. So Trout's hitting a good 110. Where do you put Trout? Guy's hitting 110. I can't put him in the 270 club because the guy can't hit. I don't know why everybody thinks Trout's so good. I've yet to see him do anything. And most of his stuff is when it doesn't count, right? I love hitters when you're losing 8-0 and they hit a solo homer and you go, oh wow, he hit a home run. Darrell Evans used to do that in the Tigers. They'd be up 8-0 or down 8-0 and hit a solo homer. But when the bases were loaded, he'd strike out or hit into a double play or something. That's why you look at RBIs on the guy and not this stupid OBS or whatever. All right, Tampa Bay, Arizona. Tampa 10 and 14. Arizona 14 and 10. Arizona minus 135 and 8. Drew Rasmussen for Tampa 1 and 1 with an 0.87, and Corbin Burns for Arizona 0 and 1 with the 4.64. He ain't in Baltimore anymore. Tampa Bay, 5 good hitters, so that's good. Arizona with 5 good hitters, so there could be runs in the game. You shouldn't hit Rasmussen. I don't know if you're hitting Corbin Burns. Let's look at Corbin Burns' last couple of games. Again, he ain't in Baltimore anymore. It's a big difference facing the other league. Against the Yankees, 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. Against Washington, 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. Against Milwaukee, 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. And against the Cubbies, 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. So he looks like he's improving because the Cubbies can hit the cover off the ball. So he gave up 2 runs there. So getting a little bit better. What do we want to do with this game? They're not going to hit this Drew Rasmussen. Well, let's make sure he's not a bullpen guy. No, 5 innings, 5.5. And the most they got is on. I'm going to bet this guy. I'm going to bet Tampa Bay. Drew Rasmussen looks good. Corbin Burns could be an under game if he's starting to get going. We know he can pitch, but he faced the Yankees early, so that made his ERA go up. In our last game, Texas and Oakland. Texas 14 and 10, Oakland 11 and 13. What a competitive I want to call it the AFC, the American League West. Texas, Oakland, California, and Oakland. No, I said Oakland, didn't I? And Arizona's. Who the fuck is in it? Seattle. So Texas, Seattle, California. Oh, Houston and Oakland. Pretty fucking good division. So they're holding their own. Texas is a 145 favorite, 8.5. Texas, by the way, has 6 hitters. Oakland's got 4. So you could get some runs. The game's in Oakland. I don't know how small the ballpark is where they're playing. It's their minor league park. Jacob deGrom, let's see if he's there. 0-1 with a 3.32. We know what he could be, but I don't know if he is. Against JT Ginn, 1-1 with a 3.60 for Oakland. 8.5. Oakland scores runs. So does Texas. I'm going to go over in this game. Let's go Oakland over 8.5. DeGrom 3.32. You know, is he back? And I don't know who this JT Ginn is. 1-1 with the 3.60, but they can hit. Texas was 6 hitters. And I love the way they beat the Dodgers on Sunday night when the guy hit a 2-run homer off the best reliever in baseball. I guess not right now, to win it 4-3. All I know is I had the under in the game, and I was really happy that it didn't go to extra innings. Oakland's got 4 hitters, so there's hitting in this game. I think over could be okay. So let's go through it. The White Sox over 7.5. That starts in a half hour. Boston under 8. That's 2 units. Kansas City 49ers over 7.5 against the Packers. Should be a really good game. Kansas City over 8.5. Washington over 8.5. California. Is this California? The Dodgers. I got to put LAA, so I know I got the A. That's why I call them California, because LA is the Dodgers. I can't. What am I going to do? So the Angels are Anaheim or California. So California is a 2-unit game. Tampa Bay and Oakland over 8.5. So the 2 bets are Boston under 8 and California 2 units. The Tigers are off today. They're so hard to pick. They're so inconsistent. You know, I'm really pissed about the Tigers because the manager kept saying he didn't know about the whole fixing in the World Series when he was at managing Houston. I didn't know they were doing that. And you see him in Detroit, and you know he's in charge. So if they started banging the garbage can in Detroit, you don't think he'd know about it. You don't think he knew about it at Houston. So he's a fucking liar because he said, I did know about it. So he's a cheat by doing that, and then a liar by lying about it. I have no respect for the guy. I hate cheats and I hate liars. Be a man. Be honest. Take it. I was talking to my friend Alyssa, and she's like, well, I lie. I said, why do you lie? Nobody cares. Just tell the truth. And she says, well, I lie. I don't want to, I don't want to get like, the wrath again, so instead of getting the brunt of something, she just lies to not get the brunt. In other words, did you take out the garbage? She would lie and say yes, because she doesn't want to hear, take the fucking garbage out. And I told her, I care more about the lie than if you didn't do it, just go do it. And so I don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, so she's starting to tell the truth more. I says, the lying bothers me more than if you do or don't do so. Just tell me where you are. Like, she'll do it when she comes over. Oh, I'm 5 minutes away, and she's a half hour away. I says, just say you're a half hour away. You don't have to say you're 5 minutes, like she's worried to upset me. And I'm like, you upset me more if you lie, and I think you're going to be there in 5 minutes, than if you tell me the truth that you're a half hour away. Like, she's worried about the pushback. And I said, don't worry about that. People either accept you as you are or not, but if they know that you constantly lie, they're not going to respect you for lying. And so that's where I'm at with this Detroit manager. He's just a fucking liar. Oh, geez, I didn't know my players were ringing the garbage can, calling the pitches, fastballs or curveball in the World Series. Oh, really? You didn't know? Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe that. And so he's cheating by doing it, and then he's lying about it, and then you make him your manager. Well, good luck. You'll never win anything. All right. So that's baseball. We covered basketball. Now let's go to the draft. And I think right now we're going to go. I don't believe Haynes King is in the draft, but let's take a look at it. NFL. No, actually, I don't. I want college. All right, so I got college quarterback stats up. Now everybody's in the Cam Ward. 39 touchdowns, 7 picks, 22 sacks. Goes for 331 a game. So they're running a wide open offense at Miami, which they should have been doing with Tyler Van Dyke, but they didn't, and they fucked him up. However, when you watch him at Washington State, he's not all there. Let's go back. Can we change years? I don't know. Cam Ward to me is not the number one quarterback in the draft. He's probably like Bryce Young. He'll be terrible. Fields. I mean, he's not an accurate quarterback. He hasn't won a big game. He didn't win any big games at Washington State. I think he beat Oregon State at home, and then he went. I think he beat Wisconsin at home a couple years ago. And our friend came on and said how good Cam Ward is. And I said, let's see him on the road. And he had to go to Washington, to Oregon. He didn't show up in either game. At Miami, who did he play? I mean, they didn't. There was no good team in the ACC last year. So I don't. Tennessee, you drafted Will Levis. This is another huge. Cam Ward is not a number one quarterback. He's a nice third rounder. He's going to be a backup on some team. He's not a starter, and he's not a number one pick. This is a huge mistake. However, you're in a draft that sucks. This draft is not good, and it's tough. So let me give you the top 10 quarterbacks as I see it. Not in any order. Will Howard is the top 10 quarterback, 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he won the national championship. He beat Penn State, and he beat Notre Dame, who had good defenses. So let's give Will Howard a top 10. Chandler Morris, North Texas, 314 yards a game, 31 touchdowns and 12 picks, and only 12 sacks. They averaged over 40 points a game. He's the top 10. Jordan McLeod, Texas State, 30 touchdowns, 13 picks, 247 yards a game. He ran pretty well, only 17 sacks. He's a top 10 quarterback. Dylan Gabriel, I will argue, is the best one. He's 1 or 2. 30 touchdowns and 6 picks and only 21 sacks. Beat Ohio State, beat Michigan badly. I mean, everybody, well, who is Michigan? I don't know, but they beat Ohio State and they beat USC, and Oregon just crushed them. So I like Dylan Gabriel. I don't know why nobody's talking about him. It's a huge mistake. He's better than Bo Nix, I think, and he was pretty good. Now there's no Daniels and there's no Penix in this draft. It's a weak draft, but of them, it's the best. Curtis Rourke from Indiana, another top 10, 29 touchdowns, 5 picks, 253 yards a game, only 20 sacks. They were undefeated. He was not the reason they lost to Ohio State. It was a punt return on a rainy field, and the punter dropped a hike back to him. Those were the 2 touchdowns. He did put up 14 points on a tough Ohio State defense. So he's fine. 4th, 5th year senior, whatever. Jackson Dart, 329 yards a game, but we know the way whatchamacallit, the coach is. He's just a passing offensive coach. 29 touchdowns, 6 picks, 28 sacks, a lot of sacks. I don't like this guy. He's too much of a runner. Again, we don't want an athlete as a quarterback. I could put the athlete at wide receiver or running back or punt returner, which is where Lamar should be and Richardson should be. These guys are not they can't throw the ball. Dart, I don't know how accurate he is. He's okay, but he likes to run. So again, you have a problem with the running quarterback. I'm not going to put him in my top 10. Profit. Let's hope the Raiders take Dylan Gabriel in the second round. I think they need to take him in the first round. I don't know if he'll be there in the second, but okay. Sawyer Robertson, I love, but I don't know if he's in the draft. From Baylor, very good. 28 touchdowns, 8 picks. John Hoover, TCU is okay. 27. Malik Murphy, I know he's from Texas. He played well at Duke, 26-12, but he's not in the draft. Let's see. Owen McCown, I love, from UTSA, but he's not in the draft. Drew Aller, Penn State, 24 touchdowns and 8. With all that talent, he just chokes in the big games. He can't beat Ohio State. He lost in the playoff. I don't smell what he's cooking, Drew Aller. I think he's overrated. Sam Levitt, I like, from Arizona State, 24-6. Had good, but I don't know if he's in the draft. Tyler Shaw is in the draft. I like him, from Texas Tech to Louisville, but only 23 touchdowns and 6. So he's a backup probably. Joey Aguilar, I like. No, he's going to Tennessee. Okay. So he's going from App State to Tennessee. He's a really good one, but I guess he's playing one more year. So now when I do the search on Yahoo, it does tell me if they switch schools. So Darian Mensah was at Tulane, is now at Duke. Peyton Thorne, he sucks. Riley Leonard, okay. He's 21 touchdowns and 8 picks. I'm not buying Riley Leonard as a star NFL quarterback. I don't know what you do with him. Dagi Opava, I love it. 20 touchdowns, 4 picks. Threw for 176 a game and ran, and he's clutch, and he beat Alabama. So, but he's playing one more year at Vanderbilt. So he'll be the first quarterback taken next year. Nico from Tennessee went to UCLA. Good luck, UCLA. Miller Moss from USC's at Minnesota now. Mikey Keene, 18 touchdowns, 11 picks. It was good. Didn't play well last year. He's a good sleeper. I'd pick him up as a free agent. He'd be a good backup. He's a very good quarterback. He just didn't get it. Noah Fafita, Arizona, 18-12. He's a really good quarterback, but his coach went to Oregon State. So he's in limbo, but he's very good, Noah Fafita. Let's see. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future at San Jose State, 16-5. Haynes King, Georgia Tech. Let's see. He was 14-2. This guy's fantastic, but the question is he in the draft? From Texas. He's going into his 6th year. He's at Texas A&M, didn't do anything, and then Georgia Tech, he's been great. So it looks like he's playing one more year. You can't get rid of Haynes King. We'll just keep betting on him at Georgia Tech. Love the guy. He's a winner. That's what the scouts miss is the guy a winner. That's why I like Dago Pava. That's why I like Dylan Gabriel. They're winners. That's why I like Daniels and Penix was a winner. Let's see. Jalen Daniels from Kansas, 14 touchdowns and 12 picks. Sorry guys, I'm not all over him. Now one guy I like as a dual is the quarterback from Army. Do I have him? Maybe I have. No, he's a running. I have him as a running back. Yeah, Daly. Daly, I have as a running back, not a quarterback. You could probably throw the ball a little bit on a trick play. He got 34 touchdowns running it last year. Are you kidding me? Most guys got like in the 20. Like Gentry was in the low 20s. He didn't get into the 34s. So you got first and goal at the 5. I'd let Daly. He'll score 90 times out of 91. That's what you want. Sort of like Scadaboo. Scadaboo's a big back. You give him the ball inside the 10, 2 plays, he'll score. And Daly, just you can't tackle him. He just knows how to get to the open spot. And so I would take Daly late as a 3rd and 4th down guy and as a touchdown guy in the red zone. Because we see what happens when these idiots try to throw the ball 4 times inside the 10. It doesn't work because there's no room to throw it. I mean, these offensive coordinators are the biggest idiots I've ever seen. Yeah, it's 4th and 2 at the 4. Let's throw the ball. Yeah, there's a lot of room to throw the ball to. I mean, you've got to be kidding. What a bunch of idiots. The only play you run is the Dave Casper play. Thank you. The play action pass. The only thing you can do inside the 5-yard line or 4th and 2. All right, rushing. We'll go by yards. So those are your quarterbacks. So Will Howard, I like very much. Chandler Morris and Jordan McLeod are very strong. Dylan Gabriel, Curtis Rourke, Tyler Shaw, and Haynes King if he's there. Ewers from Texas, maybe. And then Cam Ward and Prime Jr. I heard how Prime Jr.'s interview was the worst interview. He was stuck up because of his dad. And nobody's going to draft him now, and he shouldn't be drafted. And Cam Ward, I don't really understand why he's the first quarterback. Okay, he threw a lot of touchdowns. Okay, you're running a wide open offense in a league with no defense. I don't really get what the big deal is with Ward, except for there's no quarterback in the draft. If I was Tennessee, I'd be trading that first pick, and I'd be going after Dylan Gabriel in the 2nd round, or I'd trade down. I hear a lot of offensive and defensive linemen are up. That's just the cost savings. They don't cost as much. There's really there's no top 10 quarterback. Maybe Gabriel, maybe McLeod. That would be it. And running back, Gentry, Scadaboo, Neal, and those are the top 3. Maybe Johnson from Iowa, but you can probably get him in the 2nd round. But Gentry, Scadaboo, and Neal, I'd be sky high on those. And let's take a look at him. Austin Gentry, 2,600 yards. But how did he do in the playoff game? I don't think he did that great. And again, it was a weak conference. All he had was Vegas, but he's in the Mountain West. So 2,600 yards, 29 touchdowns. All right. He's hard to tackle. I agree with Gentry in the, not probably around the 10th pick. Cam Scadaboo, Arizona State, 1,700 yards, 21 touchdowns. He'd be my number 2 all day long, first rounder. Omarion Hampton, I don't know why everybody's so high on the guy, 1,660 yards, but only 15 touchdowns in the weak ACC. I'm not jumping on him. Bryson Daly, Army, 1,659 yards and 32 touchdowns, the most touchdowns. he's my running back, or he's going to be an option quarterback or something. Uh, he's not. I don't know. Maybe he can throw the ball. He's not a bad thrower, but he's your guy rushing the ball. Trey Stewart, Jacksonville State, 1,638 yards, 25 touchdowns, but it's against weak competition. R.J. Harvey, UCF, 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns. I like him. Caleb Johnson, Iowa, 1,537 yards, 21 touchdowns. I like him a lot. Ty Brooks, Texas Tech, 1,500 yards in 11 games and 17 touchdowns. I love him a lot. He's very good, especially at Texas Tech. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee, 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns. Love him. Very clutch. Malik Hughes, Tulane, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. Ahmad Hardy from Lou Monroe. I don't know much about him. 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns. And Devin Neal from Kansas, 12 games, 1,266 yards, 16 touchdowns. Go ask Prime about this guy. He basically beat Colorado by himself. Love this guy. Very good running back. Blake Hurth from Navy, 17 touchdowns. Not bad. I'd go after the Army guy Daly first. Not much else. That's about it. Those are the other guys you can take maybe as a free agent, but there's nothing else really there. So you've got Gentry, Scadaboo, Neal, Jackson, Tajay Brooks, Sampson, Hampton, and Harvey. So you got 2, 4, 6, 8 really good running backs, and then by the way, Daly for your third and fourth down to get the points in the first downs, which is crucial. I would go after Daly for that. He'd be a later pick, but he's very clutch. He knows how to get the yards and 32 touchdowns. And they didn't play weak teams. They played Navy. They played. They're in the AAC now, so he's playing very good teams. So that's your running back. There's better running backs than quarterbacks. You got 3 or 4 good quarterbacks, and it ain't Cam Ward, and for sure not Prime Jr. Dart is not a first-round guy. And then Milrose from Alabama. Can somebody explain that to me? What the fuck are they talking about taking Milrose for? How many games did we lose betting on Alabama because that guy couldn't throw a pass? And he's going to do it in the NFL. Oh, okay. Profit. Let's hope the Raiders take it. Okay, I said that. How can you draft Milrose in the first round? How can you draft Dart in the first round? How can you draft Cam Ward in the first round? So we'll bet heavily against Tennessee, and he's gonna be like Caleb. He's gonna run around. He's gonna get sacked. He's gonna throw a lot of interceptions. He's gonna play high school ball. And the Bears, again, they should be drafting a quarterback. Caleb sucks. Carolina, Bryce Young, he's terrible. I'd be drafting these, but you don't really have much. But if I'm Carolina, I'd rather have Curtis Rourke or Will Howard than Bryce Young. Bryce Young stinks. So I don't really see what they're looking at. The Cam Ward's not the number 1 pick. So we'll be betting heavily against Tennessee because they'll probably throw him in the starting lineup. He's going to throw a lot more interceptions than touchdowns. He'll try to run. He'll try to do what Richardson, and he'll probably get hurt. He is not an NFL quarterback. Sorry. You can't ignore the 2 years at Washington State where he sucked. It was not loyal. Washington beat him, and Oregon beat him, and Oregon State beat him. He was not it. He did beat Wisconsin at home early in the year in September, but that was his big game. And I think he beat one other team early. And then when he went and played the big boys, didn't show a lot of interceptions. So I don't get. So he had a good year at Miami in a very weak, much weaker conference than the Pac-10 was. So I'm not buying him. Receivers, absolutely horrible receivers this year. Let's look at it. And we can look at yards, or we can look at yards per game. So the best receiver is Harold Fannin from Bowling Green, 1,554 yards, 10 touchdowns, way better than anybody else. Nick Nash, San Jose State, 1,382, 16 touchdowns. This McMillan from Arizona, only 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns, and he had Fafita. So I have questions. He had a good quarterback. He did shit. Jeremiah Smith, forget it. He's 17 at Ohio State. Travis Hunter, 1,258 yards and 15 touchdowns on a team, Colorado, that was 95% passing, running a wide open offense. So I don't smell what he's cooking. I don't know how good he is as a secondary guy. It's not like Colorado had this wonderful team. I guess they had a Daria. So I don't. Just a second. Anyway, I got to take Daria when she comes. It's already 9 o'clock in Russia there. All right. So Travis Hunter, I don't know. Coleman Owen from Ohio, 1,245 yards and 8 touchdowns. Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end, 1,233 yards and only 8 touchdowns. I don't know why everybody's so sold on that guy. Kyle Williams, Washington State, 1,198, 14 touchdowns. I have no idea. Iowa State's got two guys with 1,200 yards each. See, I like Rocco Beck. He's a good quarterback, but he'll come out next year. Eric Rivers, Georgia Tech. Jamal Pritchard, South Alabama. Xavier Restrepo from Miami. I think he's pretty good. 11 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. That's about it. It's a terrible year for receivers. With the extra games, 1,000 yards, pretty meaningless. Trey Harris from Ole Miss. So he's your best. He played 8 games. He got 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. And you want to draft Jackson Dart. Okay, good luck. And Bagua from Ohio State, 16 games. He only got 1,000 yards and only 10 touchdowns. Why did they think he's good just because he went to Ohio State? I don't know. And that's it. I mean, I got nobody here. I mean, this is such a weak draft. You don't have, like, we called Daniels and Penix last year and Nix. I mean, the best you got, the only really first rounder I see there is Gabriel and McLeod and maybe Will Howard. And nobody's talking Will Howard. I don't know why not. He only won the national title. Although so did Stenson Benson, who I don't know what his deal is on the Rams, but it's with Stafford. You got a lot of good running backs, about 6 or 7, and then you got 3 or 4 receivers. Hunter going second. You do not take you're going to make him a receiver or your cornerback. You don't take the guy second. It depends what you do, but Cleveland has far better needs than a cornerback. There's some really good defensive players from Georgia they should be taking ahead of this guy. to go with Myles Garrett, or if you want to go, you got Nick Chubb. Is he healthy? You need a quarterback. Granted, there's not much here, but they certainly could take McLeod or Gabriel as a quarterback over this wide receiver defensive end. I mean, that just is ridiculous. Then you've got the Giants need a quarterback. So Cleveland needs a quarterback. The Giants, let's go through the mock draft just to see. Now, all these offensive linemen are just incredibly stupid. So that's pretty much it for that. I don't really have a defensive thing we can look at because I don't know how you really judge linemen. How am I going to judge a lineman? I judge a lineman. The only thing I can say is if the guy started at Michigan, or he started at Ohio State, or he started at Notre Dame, or Georgia, or Alabama, or Tennessee, and he's around in the fourth round, I'm taking him. Because if he's good enough to start, they're not going to just start anybody. So if he's good enough to start, can you really see a difference in skill set from the guy you're taking in the first round to the guy in the fourth round if they're starters at, a starter at Notre Dame versus the starter at USC versus the first round pick or the first receiver? Is there really a difference? I mean, it's a joke. There's no real difference there. So therefore, what are you doing? You're just not. You're wasting your pick in the first round with an offensive lineman that isn't. You can't differentiate them from another. Like they want. Well, let's go through it. The NFL mock draft, and I get my point. All right. So Tennessee goes first. Cam Ward, huge mistake. Another whatchamacallit, Caleb. Cleveland with Travis Hunter, huge mistake. If you're going after, you don't go drafting wide receivers early. If you're going after defense, you don't take a cornerback, right? You take one of these defensive linemen or linebackers from Georgia. Got it. So this is a wasted pick for Cleveland. They need a quarterback, by the way. Joe Flacco, he's what, 50 years old? The Giants, Abdul Carter, Eds, Penn State. Makes sense. You still need a quarterback. Who's your quarterback? Oh, yeah, Danny DeVito. So again, wasting time on Daniel Jones for 5 years has fucked you up. You didn't take a quarterback last year when you had 5 quarterbacks to take. And now you're like, oh, we need a quarterback, and you're still not addressing it. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to win. You're going to win 5 games without a quarterback. What, are you kidding me? You get killed by Philly. You'll get killed by Washington. You'll split with Dallas. What do you? And then good luck on your other outside the division games. So terrible waste. You don't have the quarterback to draft this. That's Cleveland. The Giants, you don't need an edge rusher. Granted, you need defense. You need a quarterback, right? But there's no quarterback this year. But you still got to get one. You should go with Dylan Gabriel then, or McLeod would be very good. Abdul Carter's a good player, maybe. I don't know. He's not. You think he's the guy on Dallas, Micah Parsons. Well, he's not Micah Parsons. So I don't know that he's all that I'm going to take him in the third pick. I think that's a mistake. Now, here we get into big problems. New England's taking Will Campbell, an offensive tackle from LSU. They still need a quarterback. They need receivers, and they need defense. And they still need a coach. Well, I think they fired the coach, didn't they? Vrabel I like, but I would go after defense. I would figure out what you want. An offensive tackle from LSU with the 4th pick is a mistake. So here's my point. Here's Will Campbell, offensive tackle LSU. Now let's say I waited till the 3rd round and took an offensive tackle from Notre Dame or Michigan or Georgia. Would it be any different? Would the guy be much better than this guy? I didn't see LSU lighting it up last year. How can you can't tell how good this guy is. New England building on offense and get a great prospect. You don't know. He would be a day one starter at left tackle, just like he was at LSU. How do you know that? How do you know how good he is? You can't tell college to pro. And I could draft the offensive tackle from Penn State in the 4th round. Can you tell the difference between that guy and this guy? No, except for you wasted your 1st round pick with an offensive tackle that you could have picked up in the 4th round. Same thing. I think this is a value because if you draft an offensive lineman in the 1st round, it's cheaper than drafting a quarterback or a running back or something like that. So I totally disagree with this pick. Jacksonville, Ashton Gentry. It's good, but they need a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence sucks. Tag sucks. Bryce Young sucks. Caleb sucks. Pittsburgh needs one. The Jets need one. Or Fields isn't going to be your answer. There's so many teams that need a quarterback. So Ashton Gentry, but what good's he going to do when you don't have a quarterback? Trevor Lawrence is a running back. He's not a quarterback. He can't throw the ball. So Gentry's going to be a waste if Jacksonville drafts him, but I don't think Jacksonville's in the position to draft Gentry. They need defense, as we know. They need a quarterback, as we know. What are you going to do with Gentry? Hand the ball off and watch the defense swallow him up because they're not going to take Trevor Lawrence seriously, and there's no wide receivers to do it. You've got to have a balanced offense. I don't agree with this pick. I like Gentry. I mean, if I'm New England, I'd take Gentry over an offensive tackle. Oakland, Armand Membo, offensive tackle, Missouri. You have to be fucking kidding me. For the same exact things I've been saying, you can get this guy or a guy just like him from Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State in the 5th round, 4th round, let's say. But you can't get, as we saw last year, Brock Bowers. You had to take him, and that's San Diego made a big mistake by drafting the offensive tackle from Notre Dame instead of Brock Bowers. That was a huge mistake. Oakland, you don't need an offensive tackle in the 1st round. God knows you need defense. God knows you need a quarterback. You got Coach Pete. This is a huge mistake. What is it with offensive linemen? Pick 3, pick 6. You're not going to be any better. The team's not going to get better with an offensive lineman because you can get them anytime. The playmaker that you need, they need Gentry or Cam Scatterboo, or whatchamacallit, or Gabriel. You need that because you're not going to get that later. This guy I can get in the 4th round, like I said, from Penn State, and I'll be fine. You don't start as an offensive lineman at Penn State or Michigan, Ohio State, USC if you can't play. Texas, Georgia, Florida. Next, the JETSs, Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. Excuse me. I think you need a quarterback. I think you don't even know what your team is right now. I thought you had receivers. I don't know. You're so fucked up. You let Devontae Adams go. I think you have a good running back. You let Aaron Rodgers go for nothing, which was absolutely ridiculous. Who's your quarterback going to be? Oh, yeah, Fields? Really? Good luck with that one. So who's going to throw to this Warren, and is he that good? Again, playing for Penn State. It's just a mismatch because he's a big guy. I'm not buying this guy in the number 7 pick. Brock Bowers, yeah, he was a special every 10-year guy, but this guy's not. So again, I don't smell this one. Carolina Panthers, Jalen Walker, edge from Georgia. All right, a nice pick. They need a quarterback. They need some, everybody can use defensive help, and I'm not going to bitch about an edge from Georgia because I know those guys are all-stars. So, yeah, that's probably a good one, but they still need a quarterback. New Orleans, Jackson Dart from Ole Miss, terrible. All right, if you need a quarterback, you got Haener, so I don't know what you're looking for. Jackson Dart's he's not any good. He's going to run, but I don't buy this. Terrible pick. The Bears, Calvin Banks, offensive tackle or a guard from Texas. This is what the Bears are going to come. Another shit pick. This isn't going to help them. Texas players are very rarely any good in the pros. And Offensive guard in the first with the 10th pick. They need defense. They let the receiver go. But really, they need a quarterback. I don't like their coach. I think he's never coached before. I don't think he's doing anything. Terrible. This guy, to me, you could take in the 4th round, and you're fine with. Prophet, I'd love to think the Raiders will take Sanders if Gentry is gone with their first pick. Take Sanders? Sanders who? Prime Jr.? The hell would they want Prime Jr. for? Well, that's a terrible pick. San Francisco, Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. He's okay. He's overrated. I don't know what the Niners are doing. They're like restructuring their team. They got rid of all their guys, so they need help. I'm not sure a defensive tackle, but maybe it's okay. I mean, I didn't think Michigan was all that, but again, Dallas Cowboys, Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas. You've got to be kidding. They have CeeDee Lamb. They should have some other receivers that you can get from TCU or Baylor or Texas Tech in the 4th round. This guy doesn't add up. Dallas gets a home run threat to pair with the steadiness of CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. Golden is one of the fastest players. Okay. So you got CeeDee Lamb. You don't have a quarterback to throw it to, and your defense has whatchamacallit, Micah Parsons, but I don't need a wide receiver with the 12th pick. Matthew Golden, 47 catches for 738 yards, and you're drafting him number 12? Really? Miami, Jody Barron, cornerback, Texas, huge mistake. Indianapolis, Will Johnson, quarterback, Michigan, huge mistake. I heard he's still injured. He's kind of a crybaby. He didn't play against Ohio State. I don't like him. Atlanta Falcons, Mike Green, edge, Marshall. I see he did a lot, but at Marshall, Atlanta, I would have went after a Georgia guy, like the next guy, Michael Williams, defensive line edge from Georgia. I would have taken him over Green from Marshall all day. Arizona, Michael Williams, edge from Georgia, the 16th pick. I don't mind that. Cincinnati, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon. Okay, Cincinnati needs defensive help, absolutely. I mean, they signed T. Higgins and Chase, and you got Burrow, so you really don't need – you need running back. Well, you can get that. There's a lot of running backs. The only other thing I could see is if they got Devin Neal or Scadaboo, I would applaud that, but maybe you can get them in the 2nd round. Seattle, Gray Zabel, offensive lineman, North Dakota State. Are you kidding me? Who's running Seattle? What idiot's doing that? You're getting rid of Coach Pete, and then you're getting an offensive lineman from North Dakota State that you could get in the 5th round. We'll be betting against Seattle next year. Holy shit. No receivers, no quarterback, and a shit defense. Tampa Bay, Jahlil Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. I question anybody on defense from Alabama. They had a real shit defense last year. I'm sticking with Georgia, Iowa State, Iowa, Oregon. I'm not going to Alabama for linebackers. Name one that's any good except for Derek Thomas and 40 years ago. The Broncos, Omarion, Hampton, North Carolina. I would go after Scadaboo. I don't mind the pick, getting a running back to go with Bo Nix. I think it's good. Pittsburgh, Jalen Milrose from Alabama. Seriously? This could be the stupidest pick of the whole draft. Okay, do I need a quarterback? Maybe. Am I going to take Milrose from Alabama who can't hit the broadside of a barn? You think Milrose is going to do anything? Again, another athlete quarterback, and we know how that story ends. Very bad. Steelers will never do it. It's a wasted pick. He can run around, but okay, put him at running back. Him, I would put at running back. I would never put him as a quarterback. He's not accurate. A lot of turnovers. He really looked like shit last year, so I'm not – this is a terrible pick. I don't mind them getting a quarterback, but if you're going to get Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to waste my first round pick on this guy. San Diego, Loveland, tight end from Michigan. Again, he's been injured. He didn't play against Ohio State. I'm not buying him. Green Bay, McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. Does Green Bay need a wide receiver? Don't they have like 5 good wide receivers? I don't know about that. I think it's a terrible pick for them. I'm not sure how good Jordan Love is. I'm not sold on him. They do need defense. Some more Georgia guys would help them. They lost to the Lions because of their defense, so they've got to stack their defense up before they go after a wide receiver who's average from Arizona, who is not needed. Probably won't even make the lineup for the first 10 or 12 games. They've got wide receivers all over the place. This is not a need. The Vikings, Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. Ole Miss had some really good defensive linemen. I like this pick. Although I would take it up Minnesota or Carolina or some of these other teams. Not the Georgia guy. If you drafted a Georgia guy, you're fine. But this guy is a stud. And again, Minnesota, they'll probably need a quarterback because McCarthy's not the answer. He's terrible. They got receiver. Well, they got their problem was their offensive coordinator and their quarterback. They have not solved the quarterback issue. That needs to be solved. 25, the Houston Texans. Josh Connerly, offensive tackle from Oregon. This is your problem? I'm not sold on C.J. Stroud. You need a running back. You have a very good defense. I don't waste my first pick with the offensive lineman. That's ridiculous. You can get Scatterboo, then you can beat Baltimore and Kansas City with that. L.A. Trey Amos, cornerback, Ole Miss. Again, Ole Miss had a great defense. I don't mind it with Stafford back and picking up Devontae Adams to go with Pukanuka. Running back was good. Yes, this is probably a good play. Pick up an offensive lineman in the 3rd round from Notre Dame or something. Baltimore Ravens, Donovan Jackson, offensive guard, Ohio State. Are you fucking kidding me? What do you need? You need a quarterback. Now, you did pick up Cooper Rush from Dallas, so that he's better than Lamar. Are you going to have the balls to play him? Probably not. Offensive guard, I'm not buying it. You don't need a running back. You got Henry. You could use a receiver, but it's a very weak receiver, and you need help on defense. So I would get one of these Georgia guys before an offensive guard from Ohio State. Really, I don't buy that. The Lions, Shemon Stewart, edge from A&M. I don't know. Is he any good? Was A&M a good defensive team last year? Is this guy any good? There's a dream. Stewart needs to develop. Why are you taking a developmental player? You can't go to Georgia. You only can draft the Alabama guys. And would have the infrastructure to do so with the Lions. What infrastructure? Stewart would eventually form a Hellacious duo with Heckerson off of the edge if the Lions can harness his grit. So this is a project player. And I didn't see A&M lost to Notre Dame. I'm not buying any A&M guys. Washington, Maliki Starks, safety from Georgia. There you go. Very good pick. They need defense. Georgia guys. They've got Daniels. I think they picked up a wide receiver in free agency. They need a running back. I would like them to get Scatterboo. Then we can bet some serious money on Washington, but they definitely need help to counter Philadelphia. This guy should be a starter. So this is who you draft. You see these cornerbacks from Michigan. Fuck this guy. Take this guy from Georgia if you're going to take cornerbacks. Buffalo, Shevin Revel, cornerback, East Carolina. I don't get it. But Buffalo has everything. They do need defense. Kansas City, Josh Simons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. They do need offensive line help after that Super Bowl with Hellacious. So this makes sense for Kansas City. They don't need a quarterback. They do need to replace Kelsey, and they need more wide receiver. They keep getting hurt. Defensively, they're solid with their coach. What's his name? Spagnola. And last but not least, Philadelphia. Donovan Azuruku, edge from Boston College. They lost a lot of defense, Philadelphia, but they got a good defensive coordinator, I guess. But you got 6 Georgia guys. So I don't mind this pick. I think it's right what Philadelphia needs. They still need a quarterback. As long as you got Barkley to run the ball, their offensive line's good. This makes sense, getting a defensive edge from Philadelphia. So you have a few teams that understand. Most of these teams, Dart and Milrose in the first. Why are we drafting Milrose? It's like the Batman movie. We fell down? Why did we fell down to get up? Right, in the first Batman movie, falls in the well. Why did we fall, Mr. Bruce, to get back up? Why are you taking Milrose and Dart in the first round? That's about as stupid as taking these offensive linemen. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think Milrose is all of a sudden going to get good when he sucked at Alabama? Do you think Dart's all of a sudden going to get good when he sucked at Mississippi and in the big games didn't show up? It's just beyond me how stupid these teams are. Now it's a mock draft. Hopefully the real GMs get smart and figure out what they need. Profit. I have to think the Raiders will take Sanders. Why would they take Sanders when you could take Dylan Gabriel? I don't want Sanders. Sanders is not a good quarterback. Sorry. More potential spam. No. I'm giving you, here's the quarterbacks. All right. I'm the GM for Oakland. I'm in the first round. Gentry's gone. Who am I taking? I'm taking Dylan Gabriel. Or I'm taking Will Howard or Jordan McLeod. Those are 1, 2, 3. Nowhere on my board is Sanders, Dart, or Milrose. That's who I'm taking. In the second round, I'm taking a wide receiver to go with Brock Bowers. And then my third, fourth, and fifth rounds are all defensive players from Georgia, Iowa State, Iowa, Oregon. I'll have to look who was very good defensively last year. I think Texas was pretty good. That's who I would be taking. Why would I want Prime Jr.? At what point do you think Prime Jr. is any good? Because his dad was the coach? I wouldn't take the other guy from Colorado, the Heisman Trophy winner. I wouldn't draft him until the third round just because of the position he plays. There's better cornerbacks from Georgia that we just talked about, and there's better receiver. Well, receiver's kind of thin, but I'm not taking a receiver until the second or third round because I can take a receiver anytime. I can get a guy from Texas Tech or Baylor, and I'm fine. In free agency, I'm fine. Signing Prime Jr. will sell tickets. I don't give a shit about tickets. You know what sells tickets? Winning. Look at the Lions. The Lions did the bullshit, and they were empty. And then they finally win. And now they sell their tickets for $450, $500 a game to these suckers here, these morons. So you sell tickets winning. You don't sell tickets because you got Prime Jr. That's not the point of this. You get TV money. That's why you're in Germany and England and Brazil and on the moon and on Mars. You're going to take the space shuttle to Mars and play. That's where you get your money. Nobody gives a fuck about Prime Jr. The only team that could take him is Denver, but they got Bo Nix, and they're never going to take him. So I don't agree with you at all. Oakland's going to sell more tickets with Gabriel, Scatterboo, Will Howard because they'll actually win. They'll sell more tickets if they win than if they, how many sellouts was there with John Madden? He sold out every game because you had Stabler. Does that sell tickets? No, the fact they won all their games sold tickets. Miami Dolphins in the 70s sold all their tickets, and when they were not very good, they didn't sell any tickets. The player, you don't sell tickets because of the player. Oh, I'm going to go see Prime Junior. How many tickets do you sell? 3, 4? I mean, I'm not going to go because they lose. Nobody wants to see a loser. And in Detroit, as soon as they started winning, look at Michigan. They sell out every fucking game. Ohio State, Penn State, because they win. That's why they sell out. Notre Dame. These guys didn't win. They wouldn't sell. Raiders fans base is not great. Well, the Raiders fans base is in Oakland, not in Las Vegas. So I mean, they're selling out the hockey because they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. You couldn't name one player on their team. I disagree. You don't go see Mickey Mantle. Why? Because he was clutch and he hit all these World Series homers, and you'd watch every Mickey Mantle at bat. Now I don't think that Prime Junior is Mickey Mantle, so that's the big problem. So I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. They make enough money with the TV revenue for that. That's where you're making your money. You don't need, do you really care about tickets? People buying the tickets, making a couple $100. How many people in Vegas are really going to go to a Raider game? What, 10, 20? It's more the visiting team vacationing in Vegas. So if it's Detroit, oh, let's go take a weekend and go to Vegas, and then we'll go watch the game. Not people who live in Oakland or not who live in Vegas. Now, it's the one team that there's a lot of Raider fans. So if they live in Vegas, they see them because they're the Raiders, not because they're Las Vegas. But, Prime Junior is not – losing does not sell tickets, and you're not winning with Prime Junior. I disagree with that. I think the Raider fan base is terrific. Just like the Steelers, just like the Packers. Any team that won has got a good fan base. Detroit sucks because they never win. They're finally starting to win. Their fan base is decent, but nothing spectacular. But Detroit's not winning without a defense. And now they got 2 new coordinators. They're fucked this year. Their coach sucks. He couldn't game plan Daniels. So in the big games, when he has to game plan, he's nowhere to be seen. What else? Exactly. Most fans that go to Raider games are going to see the visiting team. Well, they're coming from the New Yorks, the Chicago. They're coming to gamble, and they're coming. Well, I don't even know if they're coming to gamble anymore. I mean, I can gamble at MGM in Detroit, but Vegas is different. You do go for the atmosphere, although they're ruining it badly. But it's not, you've taken it away from Oakland, just like San Diego is now in LA. It killed them. Nobody goes to the games. People don't drive up from San Diego to see the San Diego play in LA. They don't even have their own stadium. It's the stupidest move I've ever seen. You had San Diego, you had it. And then you go and you fucked it around. You've got the market, right? You've got a monopoly on the market, and you move to LA where you don't even have a monopoly anymore. What is this owner thinking? Just stupidity. Chargers have got to move back to San Diego. Well, that's my point, and I think Oakland should move back to Oakland, except for it's all falling apart, but they're not doing anything. All the Oakland fans are not going to Vegas. I know a couple people who live in Vegas who are Raider fans, but I see you guys come here, and most of the guys that I have in class are Raider guys, right? They're Raider fans. I'm a Packer fan, or I'm a few, but not mostly. It's Raider fans, and that they're the loyal ones, but a lot of Steelers are passionate. The Steeler fans and the Packer fans, holy fuck, you don't want to move them. You move Pittsburgh to Las Vegas, you'd fill up, but you'd piss off the Pittsburgh or Green Bay fans. So you're not doing that. You don't draft a guy because it sells tickets. That to me, you sell tickets for one reason, because you're in the play. Because you make the playoffs. That's the only reason, right? I draft Scatterboo because I want to win, because he can get me a touchdown and at the 5 yard line on 4th and 5. I'd give him the ball. It's a touchdown. Or some of these guys, but these quarterbacks, again, you don't sell tickets. That's not losing. Does not sell tickets. If you draft Milrose, if you draft Jackson Dart, you're out of your fucking mind. These guys are not good. Look at Chicago. They've been drafting Fields and Trubisky. Are they selling tickets? But they lose all the time. Does that make them good? It's good for us. We just bet against them and win a lot of money. In the 70s, they tried to move Green Bay to Milwaukee. Didn't work. No, that's not true. Green Bay has always played a few games in Milwaukee. I don't recall them moving from Green Bay to Milwaukee. But they'll play 2 or 3 games in Milwaukee and the rest in Green Bay. And Green Bay is a public team with shareholders. It's the only one that doesn't have an owner. And they are never looking to leave Green Bay. Never going to happen. Yeah, they split the games because Milwaukee's a bigger stadium. That's where the Brewers play baseball. So they would play 2 or 3 games in Milwaukee and 5 in Green Bay. Like the Lions game would be in Green Bay, but maybe the Bears game might be in Milwaukee. But no, that's what they do. They split some of them. I don't know if they still do, but they used to. But they never thought they were never going to leave Green Bay after what Lombardi did. You got to be kidding me. No, the guy would be hung for treason. Anyway, so that's it. So the draft is a bunch of GMs that have no fucking idea what they're doing. They can't. They don't know what they're looking for in talent, and any team that drafts an offensive lineman in the first round should be fired. I mean, purely. I mean, the logic is I can see Scatterboo, and I can see Gentry, and I can see Dylan Gabriel against good teams, and I can see what they did. Even Will Howard for Ohio State's not getting any credit. Why are you going to Dart and Milrose when you got Gabriel and Howard? What are you, insane? So you see that. Now I'm giving you McLeod, who's from Texas State, who's fantastic, who's an unknown, but I know him, right? I locked him, and I won with my lock by 30 points. So you have that. So you have to understand that. And you cannot differentiate offensive linemen. I mean, I could take a guy from Nebraska in the 5th round. You can't tell me there's the difference between taking all of a sudden an Ohio State lineman. Why are they so good? They lost to Michigan 13-10. I'll keep rubbing that wound as long as I want. You have such a great offense and such great offensive linemen, and you lost to Michigan 13-10. I'll go fuck off. Oregon beat them by 30 or 25 or something like that. So I'm not really buying that. Excuse me. I'm not buying that at all. That's a good thing. All right. So baseball again. We're taking the White Sox, which probably started over 7.5. Boston under 8, 2 units. Kansas City, the 49ers over 7.5. Kansas City in the second game over 8.5. Washington over 8.5. California, 2 units. Tampa Bay and Oakland over 8.5. I think I need water or something. Let me get a drink before I die here. It's fun getting old. You get all these new pains that you've never had before. So the two bets are Boston under 8 and California for 2 units. The draft we went through, NBA we went through. We can quickly do those picks again. Basically, we're taking the Knicks off of a loss, -1.5 to Detroit. We're taking Memphis plus 9.5, very lightly. Again, the fact this is do or die for them. They go down 3-0, it's over. Even though they're the 8th seed and they got pounded pretty good, they still have pride. And Oklahoma is going to relax. We won the first two. We can kind of relax. And Denver and San Diego, I'm going to take, let's take San Diego -5.5. They've split, but a very, very small one. And let's look at our gold. Nice little up, 33.34. So you had the 10 o'clock drop, and when it goes down like that at 10, the U.S. is going to buy. So it's almost like England's going, okay, well, we'll knock it down for you so you can buy cheaper. So 33.34. We'll get to 3,500 soon. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, yeah, we could end 3,400, but we'll be back there. Once you see it, that's where it's headed. It got to 34.95. We'll be there. We'll be back there. They just take their chunk, and that's why I say the Comex games, it's all bullshit. So Comex just, it goes up, and then they short it and make money on the short going down, and then it goes down, and they buy it on the calls to go up. It's all options. It's got nothing to do with reality. It's got nothing to do with free market. And this is not even close to the real physical gold and silver prices. They are far, far cheaper than what they should be, and that's why I tell you to buy it. And again, silver, I'd be buying and buying and buying, understanding it's not going to go up until July 1st. So you can't get frustrated. It's not a stock. I think when they say it's not an investment, that's what they mean, but they don't know how to say it. It's not a stock, fellas. And, right now, Comex is controlling the price, and I have no idea why. It's such a bullshit game. These Ponzi schemes are really frustrating. The biggest Ponzi scheme I see is the stock market. Goes down to 37,000, goes up to 40,000. Why? The inflation is still huge. We're in a depression. These tariffs are going to kill the economy. Why are you buying stocks? I mean, it's like insanity. And it goes down. Oh, we're buying because it went down to 37. Why are you buying? Well, I don't know. It just went down. Because it'll go up, because eventually it'll go up. No. Go ask the Japanese how long their stock market's been down. So if you're buying paper gold or silver, why not do it every day at 10 a.m.? Well, I don't buy paper gold, I buy physical. But when I did buy stocks, as I said, I would buy 1,000 shares of Newmont Mining when this turned up. So at 10 o'clock, I wouldn't buy. And then as it started to go up at 33.12, so when it hit like 33.14, I would buy it. I'd buy 1,000 shares. And then now I would probably get out at 33. I'd make 30 cents. Well, this is $30. The stocks are kind of, but let's say that, and I would make $300 and say thank you very much. Let's play again tomorrow, because I can't trust it to keep going up. The only thing I could trust is the 10 o'clock drop. I knew was going to happen. Now, I'd say 98 out of 100 days it does this. Couple days it goes up at 10 o'clock, not down, and then you're fucked because you don't know what to do with it. That happens pretty well every day. 98 days out of 100 it does. There's a couple of days where it's like this, and at 10 o'clock it does that. A couple of days, but normally it's the 10 o'clock drop followed by the algorithm going up, and we're just taking the algorithm up as long as it wants to go. Now, this is in dollars, so again, I would buy a stock, and I picked Newmont Mining, which was the biggest gold miner, and just buy 1,000 shares, and it cost me $45,000. And that's why I was in and out. And if I made $500 or $700 or $800 in the day, I'd say thank you, and I'll play again tomorrow. I mean, it was easy as pie. Understanding these are algorithms, so the algorithm is shooting it down, and then when it U-turns, it's the algorithm going up. So these are algorithms, so you just get on board of the algorithm going up, and you can see it. It's boom, 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 and then all of a sudden it turns up, and then it's like, let me on the elevator and take the ride up, and then when it gets there, get the fuck out. Do they still mine for gold anywhere in America? I don't know. I think most of them are Canadian. A lot of the mines are in Canada, Russia, China. I don't think Switzerland has mines. I know the biggest ones are in Toronto, Vancouver, things like that. And Russia's huge. China's huge. There could be some in Nevada, I think, one or two, but the bigger ones are in Canada. Yeah, the Yukon, all the cold places seem to have the gold. The deserts seem to be where the oil is, and like Siberia has a lot of gold, and the Yukon and these really cold places must be very conducive there. So that's where the gold is with the cold places. So, but you got to drill it out and mine it, and then you got to purify it into coins, right? You got to take it to Switzerland and say, here's the raw, and turn it into gold, turn it into coins and bars, and that's what you do. So that's kind of where you're at with it. But I don't play paper. I used to play paper, but at the end of the day, you want physical, because physical is what's going to go up, and the stocks will go out, and the paper will go out, but the gold will be gold because the paper's all in dollars, which is not worth anything. So you don't want to be in this. That's the whole point. You want to be in physical. Most of the old silver mining towns out west are now ski resorts. Well, it's not even making sense to be a silver mine, because the price they've kept so low that it costs them more. So right now it's $33.52. Well, it probably costs you $50 to mine it. And if I can only get $33.52 out of it, I'm not going to mine it. Gold, I'm going to mine because it's the same cost to mine gold as it is to mine silver. But gold, it's at 33.33. It's adorable. Or 33.34. So why would I mine silver to get $33 when I can mine gold to get $3,300? So there's no silver mines anymore. That's basically the problem. All right. So I think that's it. I think we're set for the draft. We'll recap the draft tomorrow. Looks like it's a very weak draft. Very few of these players will make any team. Dart and Milrose will be like Caleb and Bryce Young. They'll be terrible. It's okay if they draft them. We'll bet against them. If they want to play Dart at New Orleans and Milrose at Pittsburgh, we'll just be betting against them. We'll just bet under. They won't score any points. They'll turn the ball over a lot. Milrose for sure. I mean, this is what they miss about these quarterbacks. They turnover machines. Mining for Bitcoin is the big thing now. Can you show me a Bitcoin? I'd really like to see a Bitcoin. I've never seen one, and I bet neither have you, and nobody has. That's the biggest joke of all, is that Bitcoin's real and you can't see it and you can't touch it. You can't hold it in your hand. Good luck buying Bitcoin. When you go broke, as I tell my friends who are in their 401ks, when you go broke, I'm not going to help you with gold. I'm not going to give you a gold coin. So that's it. I mean, that's basically it. When you go broke, not if, and you're not going to make money on Bitcoin because the dollar's not worth anything. If you're in any products that have this, forget about it. This is worthless. You cannot print 150 trillion of anything and think it has value. And 40 countries joining BRICS. I'll show you that real quickly. So we've got 44 nations ready to join BRICS. 44. You already got 10. That's 54. And they're not buying dollars. They all need gold to have gold-backed BRICS currency. They're not playing with the U.S. anymore. They're playing in the other team. So how much is your dollar worth? So as we explained, this is only worth something if somebody will buy it. Otherwise, it's not worth anything. And this is only worth something if somebody wants it. And 44 countries have just said, we don't want it either. And I'll leave you with this wonderful thought from Egon. There are still 1.5 million Bitcoin blocks out there, apparently. I don't know what that means. Hiding somewhere in cyberspace. Can you show me what they look like? Can you touch one? And it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Madoff. Here's all you need to know from Egon, and I will leave you with this.
When should you sell gold? That is a very interesting question because right now you should buy gold, not sell. And you should sell gold when all major economies running budget surpluses and have no debts, and when there's no money printing. That is the same time as elephants fly. It is not going to happen in the very near future, that we like for the next 10 years or so. So for the next 10 or maybe longer years, you should keep your gold and don't think about selling it. There might be times when gold is overbought, but that is not going to happen in the next few decades.
So that's the answer to when you're selling gold, when elephants fly. It's a blockchain. What's a blockchain? It's a ledger. A blockchain is simply a ledger putting out your names on it and how much Bitcoin you hold. It is not a Bitcoin. It's not a coin, and it's not real, and you can't see it, and you can't hold it. So you are buying Bitcoin, you're just buying air, and you're paying $80,000 for air. You're out of your fucking minds. People that do that don't hang around long. Cyberspace, it's bullshit. It's like owning I have my Teaserking site where I have this channel on on YouTube. I have the channel, it's mine, but I don't. You can see me and hear me more than you can see and hear a Bitcoin or whatever. It's not a coin. So it's a Ponzi scheme. And basically you think it's worth something, it isn't. The stock market has always worked on the same principle. Yes, it's a Ponzi scheme. Exactly. That's why I'm very rarely in the stock market. And the price fixing on gold and silver is to keep you in the stock market. And Bitcoin's that. So let's take a look at that. We'll leave you with that. So let's see what Bitcoin is at. Bitcoin is at 92,999. So 93,000 for year. Sounds promising to me. And let's see what the Ponzi scheme stock market's doing. It's up $376 at 39,983. Who is buying and why? See, nobody can answer the questions. Who's buying Bitcoin and why? Well, because it's up. Because Bitcoin's at 90,000, I'm buying it. Why? I can't answer the question. I can only answer because it's at 90. I'm going to go for the ride because I'm a moron and I see it going up. So I want to make money because I'm too stupid to make money with my brain. I'm going to watch what other people do. And if it goes up, I'm going to buy it because it's going up. Those are the same people betting, watching a line move and betting the team without knowing anything about the team. Just that because the line's moving, I'll buy it. I'll bet it. And I've been on the wrong end of those. I don't bet like that, but I've seen where I bet Fresno State at 7, and then it goes, and I bet it for a reason, and it goes up to 11, and then they lose the game, and you're like, so I guess that doesn't work. So at the end of the day, Bitcoin will be worthless, as well the stock market will be pretty much worthless. We're in a depression. This is not the time to be buying stocks. Bonds are gone. Bitcoin, who knows what it is? Again, let me know what it looks like. Show me a picture of a bit. It's not even a coin. Why do they call it a Bitcoin when it's not a coin? And how is it digital gold when it's not got anything to do with gold? Is this digital gold? Is this digital gold? No, they're not digital gold. They got nothing to do with gold. They're baseball cards. Gold is gold. If it ain't gold, it's not gold. Anyway, go buy your silver. Well, the stock market's being propped up because of the price fixing. Nobody's buying it. I mean, what happens is your 401k. So you go to work and they match it. So you take money out of your paycheck and the company matches it and it goes into your 401k. That's how the stock market goes up. And it's on it's analytics, or no, it's what do you call the other thing? I always get those two confused. Algorithms. So it's just the algorithm going up or the algorithm going down, and that's why it goes up. Well, that's not a reason. But that's what happens. So that's why people lose a lot of money. So that's what's happening. Like you got you're working 401k, they match it, they put it into the mutual fund, stocks go up. Only because you're pulling the money out of your 401k because the company's matching it and you think that's a good thing to do. And I sit there and say, forget it. I did not take a 401k at Tenneco and have the company match it. I said, I want my money. I'm going to buy gold with it. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm doing okay with the gold. Anyway. But be careful in Ponzi schemes. And you're in one in the stock market and you're in one with Bitcoin and you're not in one with gold and silver. In fact, it's the reverse. The Ponzi scheme is to try to keep the price down. But good old China keeps pounding it pretty good. And Trump, he needs gold. If he's going to survive, he needs gold. He can't pay off the debt. And the tariffs are the worst thing. This Victor Davis Hanson, what a moron he is. Oh, the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act didn't cause it. The stock market had already crashed. I'm like, idiot. The stock market is not the depression. He doesn't even know what the depression is. It's the economy, not the stock market. So like now, if the stock market went to 25,000, that's not a depression. That's the stock market dropping. But it's got nothing to do with the economy, and the depression is based on the tariffs. And the tariffs always cause depressions because they make costs, They make goods cost more, so you don't buy as much because all of a depression is a slowing of the economy. And when costs go up, the economy slows down. That's just normal behavior because that's what it is. It's the economy slowing down. And how is it going up if you raise prices? And you raise costs, how can the economy go up? Sorry. All right, that's it. I'm a little tired. My heartburn's okay because, again, water with ginger and cinnamon is the key. A little lemon in it heals you right up. Do you think Trump will be impeached? Why? Who's going to impeach him? The liberals are all fucked up, just like in England, just like in Canada, just like in Germany and Romania. They're all getting kicked out. Why are you hearing he's going to get impeached? And if so, what for? I don't see how he could possibly get impeached. By whom? For being stupid? Well, then Biden was worse than stupid. Biden wasn't even coherent, and he didn't get impeached. I don't see it, but there's definitely too many executive orders. Everything should be running through Congress, and he's just signing away on it. It's terrible. Do you reps control the Senate? Is that a question? Do your reps, the Senate, the senators, I don't know if that's Congress or the House. I don't know that much about government. I don't want to know anything about government. It's all a Ponzi scheme. Do the Republicans control the Senate? I believe so. Yeah, I believe the Republicans have both of them, the House and the Senate. So, yeah, he's not getting impeached, at least for the first 2 years. Then we'll see the 2-year election. But the economy is going to be his Achilles heel. He's walked into a $37 trillion debt that he can't walk out of. He can't say, well, forget it. He can't just say, well, let's not count the debt anymore. He can't do that. So anyway, that's where we're at. So I don't even know if it matters. It's George Soros is basically running the U.S. Whoever he wants in is who's in. That's the bottom line. So on one can impeach him then. Well, I don't think you can just impeach. You got to have the votes. And it's all blackmail and it's all payoffs. It's all lobbyists. So if the defense contractors want Trump in office, he's in office. It's the defense contractors, aka the mafia, are running the government. So I'm sure whoever they want in there is in there. That's how it works. This government's a joke. The lobbyists control it, and the mafia controls the lobbyists. So the mafia controls the banks. The banks control the government, as I said. So it's the mafia controlling J.P. Morgan, let's say, Jamie Dimons and the mafia. So he's controlled by the mafia, control the banks control the government with the lobbyists pay off. The government's a bunch of idiots who just are in there to take the lobbyist money. The way the government is. So who's impeaching who? Now you got to understand what's going on. It's all crooked. This is no more the normal House and Senate and all that. That's bullshit. This is all. It's all corruption. It's all mafia payoffs. George Soros. So it's like when the mob installed Jimmy Hoffa as their union leader. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. The whole thing's mafia, right? In every country, the Russians, the Chinese, Hungary, the UK, Canada. I mean, don't kid yourself. They're the ones running the government. That's why we need to blow up the government, and we need to blow up the currency and go back with gold. But the mafia probably doesn't want it. But the mafia and BRICS has figured out that, well, wait, we can get the gold price up. We can make more money in gold than we can in dollars, because as we've stumbled on it, we realized the dollar is zero. So if we have all this money in dollars, it's all worthless. So we got to get into gold. So they'll want the gold price to go up and the silver price to go up because they have all the gold. So understand who's running the show here. Have you ever been to the diner Jimmy Hoffa was last seen at in Dearborn? No, I don't think so. I know, is there a sign that says Jimmy Hoffa was murdered here? I thought he was murdered in New York and underneath some highway or something. But that's exactly what happened. You've seen Godfather, Don Corleone. All the politicians he has because he's bribed them and he's paying them off. That's exactly the way it works. And it'll keep working that way until, well, what's happening here is the money's worthless. So they're all getting itchy and they're all going, well, we need gold then because at least gold will have a value. That's the part they're missing. The mafia didn't take Austrian economics. Otherwise, they'd all be into gold and gold would be $20,000 an ounce and they'd all be able to retire. But the mafia is not that smart. And George Soros is a Nazi. He's not that smart. He didn't take Austrian economics. He took Nazi economics, Hitler economics. Anyway, I think he was from Detroit, but I think he died in New York or something with the Teamsters and stuff like that. All right, I think that's it. So I am off. Have some lunch, and then I'll go swim after about 3:30. We've got the draft, so it's a shitty draft. There's really 2 or 3 players worth drafting. Everybody else is not going to help the teams. These offensive tackles from Ohio State and LSU are not going to help the team at all. They never have. You don't really win with it anyway. Because Mahomes lost the Super Bowl because Philadelphia's defensive line got there because they're all Georgia players. But you could draft 5 new offensive linemen with the first 5 picks. Philadelphia is still winning that Super Bowl. So understand that. You can't fix it with drafting a guy from Ohio State as an offensive tackle, putting him in, and all of a sudden Kansas City wins Super Bowl. No. No, the defense has too many weapons. You can blitz or run stunts that the offensive lineman can't do anything about. The Lions have a great offensive line. Oh, yeah, but they gave up 45 points, and they got crushed by Washington. That's the problem. They got crushed by Buffalo. So it didn't matter how good your offensive line is. That's not what wins games. It's the defense. So all these teams drafting offensive linemen in the first round are idiots because they should be drafting defensive guys out of Georgia and Iowa and Iowa State. And, and not Alabama. They are not good defensive players. So that's where we're at. So anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. And keep our eye on gold. It's Thursday, 2:00. So China gets it at 6. Look for China to really pump it up. So if we can stay at the 33.30s, we should see 34 by tomorrow morning. And we'll see if the U.S., I guess it depends. If it's over 34, the U.S. might sell some. If it's in the 33.80s, I think we'll end up at 34 and a quarter going into next week. But Friday's always that, and then it's closed on the weekend, and China gets its hands on it Sunday night. Anyway, lots to draft and enjoy, and NBA playoffs. They're not even on TV. It's TNT and this other stupid channels, Fox Sports. It's like nobody has these channels, and nobody's watching these games. You're killing yourself. Why isn't it on ABC or CBS, whatever? And then the baseball games are never on. I can watch it at the gym when I'm on the bike, but otherwise, I think there's a Fox game on Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon or something. Anyway, all right. Well, have a good day, everybody, and we'll keep our eyes. We'll analyze the draft tomorrow, the tonight draft tomorrow, and then we'll look at how many stupid teams there are, starting with the New York Giants and the Bears. All right, everybody, have a good day. Relax, enjoy. www.teaserking.com if you want to get a hold of me. My email's there.